Jim Smartin, Exit Realty Metro. Today we're going to do a little baking. Usually I like to cook, but everybody needs to bake once in a while. So we're just going to do kind of a cobbler slash crisp, about an apple crisp, which I'm replacing some of the apple it requests with an Asian pear. You can do it with rhubarb too, it's delicious. It's a very simple thing. Start off by cutting your fruit. So, it's got more to it, but let's just get the main part. Again, good fresh, good fruit. I'm not one for removing skins, as I've mentioned before, and if you watched any of my other videos. So it's going to be a very simple step. It's more of a process of getting them down to the size you want them more than anything. So I've got this. Once this is all cut, it's going to go into this nice little tray. Again, no need to fret. This is not going to go to waste. These will get used later, just not for this. So again, let's get some bunch of different sizes. Line the bottom of the pan with them. As long as they're thin enough that they all cook equally, you're going to turn out with a pretty awesome flavor. I find apples and Asian pears really work nice together. I find any kind of pear really works nice with the apple though. So it's going to kind of combine and be almost like a thick applesauce when this is all done on your base. And then we're going to add in the granola, cinnamon, all your other stuff like that. It's just going to play in really nice together. It's going to be really good for when you're dealing with parties, family, holidays. If you like baking, it's just a good thing to do. And if you don't like baking, it's a real easy thing to do that you can get away with. So that's how I do it. And there we have it. So this is going to break down. It's going to lower a bit more applesauce-y kind of thing in the bottom. But for now, you want the tray nice and high. Kind of like a pie, but only better. All right, then we're going to go to your dry ingredients. So here are quick oats. Very simple. You're going to be looking at equal parts everything. Okay, not everything, just a little bit of cinnamon. A little cinnamon goes a long way. A lot of cinnamon goes too far. Now, if you want to add a little extra zip to your flavor anytime you're doing any baking, a bit of lemon juice tends to help. I'm not going to add it. I want this to have a bit more of that just brown sugar classic flavor to it this time. Bits of salt. Nothing like salt to bring everything together. And then you bring all of your dry ingredients nice and mixed, as consistent as you can do, and toss in your butter. Now, when you're playing with the butter, you can either do it with your hands or not. I'm going to choose to do it with my hands because, again, you want to have those nice little pieces all flattened into that. It's kind of like when you're doing a pastry or even when you're doing a tea biscuit. You want to make sure you have actual chunks of butter in there because the butter is what's really going to make it pop and explode. Plus, everything is better with butter. So just try to basically make a dough out of it at this point. See how it's starting to come together like a snowball. So that's all going to melt when it's in there, and at the same time, it's going to help your oats cook a little quicker. There we go. So you want to make sure absolutely every little bit of dry is in there, otherwise you're going to end up with something that's way too wet. So that's what we're looking at. Nice ball. You're going to take this. I do things a little different. since you're going to want to have it spread out there, you want it a little spread out to begin with. You can do it on top of parchment's generally ideal, because then you can just flatten it and lay it on like a pie crust. So, but this tends to do the same thing. So yeah, comes up pretty simple, not too bad. I'll take the knife underneath it, cut it in portions, put it on top, flatten it back out. The oven's at about 375. We don't want to cook this too fast. There's a lot of butter going on. Look at that. What did I say? Goes on pretty nice, pretty even. Just takes patience and a knife. Here we go. And guess what time it is? It's time for this to go into the oven. All right, so again, about 30, 35 minutes, depending on your oven temperature of outside, inside, all of that. Ovens play different. 45 minutes at the longest. You'll be able to tell it should be bubbling a bit, and you should get this nice golden brown to the top. And so we'll just let that cook for a bit, and we'll come back to it later. All right, so ready to come out of the oven now. Oh, look at that. All that juice that's dripping all around. Nice little applesauce momentum. Now, I would suggest, again, for this is something you want to let cool, generally. I'm going to take that out now instead, but when you let it cool, it really holds its consistency. All right, so let's, there we go. The oats are nice and cooked. Look at that. Whether it's ice cream or frozen yogurt, you got your apples are nice and soft. Look at that, the nice transparency of them all. Said you can definitely dessert that up however you want. Me personally, this is how I go. So on that note, here's your fruit crumble. I'm Jim Smartin, Exit Realty Metro. And that's it, that's all.